all the snacks the kids want, we had bought. And only thing that I think we bought in the park was we bought them ice cream.
Yeah, and water. Yeah, something to drink.
And so I think that's how we managed. But and when they wanted something, we'd be like, oh yeah, boom. Reach in the back, pull that thing out. It was
so great.
I think we were so proud of ourselves.
We were. I mean, to this day, I was like,
we out here winning.
Yes.
The park not gonna get us.
That's
we
right.
Got y'all.
We got them jokers. Like, we were for real, because they had a ball and they didn't know that they were missing anything. Welcome. This is For Better and Worth,
the podcast where we don't believe you have to sacrifice your relationship while you grow and build your net worth.
We are your hosts.
I'm Chris.
And I'm Ericka Young. And we're so glad you're joining us today.
All right, y'all. Let's get into it. Hey, babe. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing good, as always.
As always.
God is good.
And all the time.
God is good.
Oh, wait. Dang, I didn't finish it right.
Yeah.
Start over.
God is good.
All the time.
And all the time.
God is good.
There you go.
I love my little lady on Instagram who goes out and she asks questions of people to understand if they know some of the black
cultural isms.
Yes. I love her, and that's one of the things. And so when someone who isn't black does get that right, she's always happy.
Say ding.
Yes, ding.
Well, look, we are in the height of the summer, like enduring a heat wave in parts of the country.
I know. In
addition to still feel like natural disasters and stuff going on.
Man, 2 months ago we were freezing.
Right. It's crazy how quick that dial turns, and when that switch flips, people are in summer vacation mode because the kids are out of school, and it's time to just go and it's a whole different budget during the summer for people with kids.
Yeah. Because
you got camps, and you got to keep these kids occupied to keep them from themselves.
Yeah, from tearing up the house.
Yeah, getting in trouble and stuff. But we want to just talk to the summer. We try to make sure we leave room to have fun. Typically we try and vacation in the summer, but we plan for that. But even this year, we're not taking major vacations, but we're tacking on the work trips and making them vacation. Mm-hmm. But we think you got to make room to enjoy yourself during the summer.
I think we underestimate how much fun costs. You can do a lot for free. Let's be clear. There's a lot we can do for free. And I do think we need to maximize on that. But I think that we underestimate how much things will be. So for instance, we're going to the movies this afternoon. And so for a family, who is taking everybody and they're getting food and all the things, that could be $100.
Yeah. Because that's why even us, we're look, let's go to the matinee. It's $10.
Always. I don't go to the movies after 6:00. I just 5:00. I don't.
Why am I paying full price when I can go to the matinee?
Listen,
see the same movie and get home and have my evening available.
Exactly. Okay. So
we sound like old people. I like having my evenings free.
For real.
It's just something about
it is.
Having time to chill at home, do whatever, and then shut it down when I want to.
That's right.
Especially in the summer. Yeah, in the summer, it's I always kick in my summer gear. I'm staying up. I'm staying up late. But I can't do it.
Last night you got in the bed and you was like, I said, are you gonna stay up? And you said, yes, I'm just gonna just for a little bit. You got in the bed, you were like, oh, fresh sheets changed that immediately. And we slept a long time. So listen, I ain't playing.
I feel like every episode we open it up talking about sleep.
Listen, because it's good.
Look,
I'm a different human when I have good sleep.
You get that fresh shower and some fresh sheets. Get in the bed, it's
nothing like it.
Ooh wee, you sink in. Ooh. Let me focus now.
So let's get back to these movies. So today, I want to go get candy from the dollar store because I'm not paying $4 for the same thing that I could get for $1.
You know about that life.
Okay, so I it's not even smuggling. I can bring in whatever I want And
The movie theater, they know what's up now. It's like,
I'm gonna get my popcorn, but everything else I'm bringing.
right, right. We'll indulge. We'll buy something there, but we got to start with those $10 matinee tickets.
Yeah,
so.
we not playing any games. So I think that we underestimate how much stuff costs. So you mentioned kids camps, big, huge. We
Ooh,
did
that's
that
a
for
huge
years.
expense. Yeah,
We
huge
did that for years.
expense.
And so we didn't do it every single week with our kids, but we made sure to have something that they would enjoy
Yes.
throughout the
We were
summer.
strategic. We had looked and searched on which camps would be beneficial to them, and which would keep their attention, and which ones fit in our budget as well, because some of them were out of control. And so we found the places and spaces where they could be occupied for the summer. But I think even now with us, we lean into a lot of the free events. Like the city we live in, they have farmers markets. We go and we wind up spending money there because they're selling things,
It's
and
the popcorn again.
right. It's food or things that we're walking around and you're enticed by.
But it's not.
But it's
I
not
would say,
outrageous,
right? Like $20. We're not
it's not
spending a lot of money.
outrageous. But then they also have like a lot of cities around here have like free concert series in the summer, and so we get our little lawn chairs and take our, I get my Yeti cooler out and we put our own things in there and take it, and then we'll sit and just enjoy the summer concert. It's in the evening, it's cooled down, and we can sit, listen for a while, then go home.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, man, that cost us nothing. But you have to look for those opportunities as well.
When our kids were coming up too, we would do the free days at the museum. Like there was this little pass, and every city has this thing, but there was this little pass that you could get, and you can go to the local museums on specific days with this pass for free. So that saved hundreds of dollars in the summer for sure. And so you just have to look for those resources, one, to keep the kids occupied, two, to understand what's happening in your city, and three, frankly, to save some money, right? Those things are available if we just go search them out. Everything doesn't have to cost money.
Well, I remember, and I know you can do it here, you do it in a lot of cities, a few places we live, they always had access to this, where you had the public pool.
Mm-hmm.
And you could go, and the public pool isn't just a public pool anymore because, we went on a bike ride and we rode by the Y, and they got a whole like water park attached to the Y. So naturally, if you're a member, you could take your kids there. But there are other like public pools that the cities run, and they are almost like mini water parks.
Yeah, they are.
And you just pay for like a small fee for a day admission. And I know we lived in Arizona for a long time. They were some great public pools. Mm-hmm. They were clean. They were well maintained, and they had, like I said, like a water park type feel. So we would go sometimes and spend a day there, or we've done that here where we live. And so I think you have to just look and see what's available in your city, and if they have those things available, go do that with your kids, or even as adults. Sometimes they have adult night. Because one of the places here, it was like all adults. And I was like, yes.
So I already looked up the days that we can go for that.
No kiddos.
However, it does cost money. Like it costs money to get in that. It's
not free.
And so, but those are fun because then you can have time away from the kids. You know what I mean? Yep. So I think being intentional with planning is a part of this. Mm-hmm. The summertime fun activities, getting in the sun, just like, riding bikes, I was thinking about going skating the other day. So I just, I think that we have to just be intentional, because otherwise you don't want the summer to go by and you ain't had no fun, or you think that the only thing that you could do for fun is to get away.
Right. And go on this major vacation.
No, that's not the case, right? And I think one of the things that we're doing this year that's kind of cool is like we're just doing longer weekends. We're not taking a full week to go anywhere.
Or a 2-week trip or something.
Yeah, we had a huge trip last year. And this year we're like, yeah, let's just take several smaller trips. And that's turning out to be fun too, because it's happening more often. Mm-hmm. Instead of waiting the entire year for this massive, amazing trip. We're like,
you go and that trip is over, but you still have
the rest of the year.
Rest of the summer.
the rest. So we're like, oh, let's go do a longer weekend here, or let's take an overnight here. Those things are fun as well. And
Nah, don't get life twisted though. Those big trips are amazing.
they are.
But they require
They
planning
do.
and they require more investment. So
Mhm.
that's a whole different kind of situation and scenario. But
Right. Well, and I think that's also like what we're doing right now is talking with friends and thinking about next summer so that we can be preparing mentally for the dollars associated with such a big adventure, right?
or we're even planning like to go rent a boat, with our
Yes.
friends to get out on
Yes.
one of the
Right
local
now.
lakes, and then we split the costs amongst several couples, and so the cost isn't as restrictive opposed to when you're trying to do it just you alone. So we can go out on the boat and experience some time on the water. So that's always fun.
Yeah. So just thinking outside the box in order to have your fun. It doesn't always have to be this grand plan.
Hmm.
Did you and your family, did y'all like get away? What was your getaway?
Anybody out there who's listening who's from Detroit knows Bobolo Island, and Bobolo was where we would go. We didn't even like go to Cedar Point, very much because people who live in the Midwest, Cedar Point is like it's a Six Flags type of amusement park, but it's the bomb. But that was a little too far for us. We had to just be able to get to downtown Detroit, get on the Bobolo boat, and take that to Bobolo Island. Man, we'd be out there all day. And my mom, she would pack a big old picnic basket, and so we would have our food, and what we spent there was minimal outside of the admission to the park. But that was one of the big things that we would do, growing up.
Boblo boat was fun because it was music on the boat. So
Yeah,
you would,
it was a whole experience.
it was a whole experience. You would go downtown to the little park, you get on the boat, and then the boat was lively and everything. And it was, I don't know, less than an hour to get there. I mean, it's a pretty short boat ride. And then you would be at the park all day and having a good time. And then you would get back on the boat.
Yep.
I mean, it was a whole experience. That was fun.
I feel like these kids nowadays, they miss out on that.
They do.
That was a cool experience to be able to go and do that. And other theme parks are good, but I'm out on them rides now. It's
Listen,
like, bro,
there was this moment. We were here, and we went to the state fair on our anniversary.
Nah, dog.
And the state fair rides are horrifying now. Like
doing it.
I got on
traveling
one of these
carnival rides,
spinning things. I almost lost my cookies for real, in a trash can on the way to the bathroom. I was like, this is crazy. I can't do it. But and it was a lot. I was thinking, oh, okay, it's our anniversary. It was like probably $2 Tuesday. We was trying to, save some money by going on a specific day. Man, never again. I just won't be getting on those rides anymore. But coming up, my mother did take us to like Cedar Point, and one of the iconic moments that we had, my mother took us to Niagara Falls. We just went across the border to the Canadian side, and that was iconic. It was like the longest away trip that we have had. And we just had so much fun. We just had so much fun. We came back. There was nothing. We spent all the dollars on the trip. Okay. But we had a great time. But one of the things we always did go to amusement parks. That was probably once a summer that we would go to the amusement parks. And I was a roller coaster girl. I was a roller coaster. Get me on all of them. I did all of them all the time. And then there was this moment. It was parenthood. It was like the kids being, 10, 12.
I remember
I couldn't do it.
I remember we took our kids to amusement parks, and we were like trying to make them meet the height requirement so we could all go on rides together. And we were crazy because I remember our youngest, she was barely at the limit, and they let her pass, and she wasn't supposed to be on that roller coaster.
That's right.
But she rode, and she was like a G. She was like, whoa. I was like, you crazy little kid. Like, what are we doing?
We had a time. Okay. Yeah. The roller coaster season is over, but it was a whole season. We had a good time.
Yeah.
We had a great time. Now I don't even remember the last time I've been to an amusement park. When was the last time we've been to an amusement park?
I don't know. It's been a minute, But I think the whole point is that the summer is here, so you have to make space to have fun, and you want to take this time to, enjoy your kids if you have them, or I don't know. I guess some people, if they're grandparents, maybe you just going to the, like your mom went to Disney with
She
your
did.
sister and
My
nieces and
mom.
nephews.
Yeah.
And so, like, she was there, walking around, hanging with them. She might not have been on the rides, but, she was there having fun. And so I think it's the big thing is that, we want you to stay on track, have a budget, plan. Everybody knows the summer is coming. Everybody knows the kids are going to be getting out of school, just like everybody knows Christmas is December 25th. And so if you start planning now, you can have a successful time then. And so if you haven't planned for the summer, maybe you just stop and take a look at your budget and say, okay, where can we make some space to create some fun? Because life is meant to be enjoyed. Life is meant to have fun as well. And so just, find that summertime fun. Maybe you balance it between finding some free things or some inexpensive things with some of the other things that maybe you plan for. Maybe you have you have a little extra room to do some of that extra stuff. So
I had a client recently who said that she wanted to go to London, and she thinks that it's going to be a pretty expensive trip. And she was estimating around $5,000.
look, we already been down this road with the Beyonce concert.
Yeah.
It's not cheap to get there.
No,
and
it's
back.
not. It's not. And so she was excited to think about it. She doesn't have any plans, but what I said to her was just save now so that when you want to say yes, you can. So that's just about $400 a month. So start saving now. So I'm getting her on a plan to make sure that she's saving that so she's already ready. So for instance, if she needs to get plane tickets at the end of this year, she actually will have the money for plane tickets at the end of this year for the trip. And then by the time the trip comes, she'll have the money for the hotel and the
Right.
food and all the things because she will
Plane
have
ticket
been.
is what locks you in for the trip.
It does. And so, but she's 12 months ahead mentally around this trip because it's not a cheap endeavor. So let me ask you this. What do you think about people being in debt and doing a trip like that?
Whew. Boy, I'm about to hurt some feelings. I got a feeling. So I think there's a time and there's a place
Okay.
to take trips of that magnitude. And you know, I'm in the YOLO phase of life. It's hard for me to say no to a lot of stuff, but I go back to the points in life where I said no to almost everything while I was on task, while I was on mission to get out of debt, to get to a place where YOLO was possible.
Right.
And so I think if someone has, I guess it depends. Well, I'm not going to say it depends, but I'm always a proponent of get out of debt first and make the sacrifice early so then you can enjoy life. But I want you to enjoy life along the way. So I guess in this particular case, I would want to know more details on what the debt looked like, how much debt, were they on a plan, did they have a strategy, and all of those things. Because I think if you are on task, you have a plan, you're working that plan, and you're actively reducing debt, and you want to take a trip like that, and you say, okay, I'm going to plan for that as well, and I'm going to do it a year out. I would say count the cost. Look at a year from now where you're going to be with the debt, and then look at where you're going to be as far as will you have saved for the trip and how would that offset your debt. And then you just got to make the choice that's right for you. I can't make that choice for people. I know how I would do it, but I would encourage people to make sure that they're doing all the things they need to do on the front side so that when you take that trip, you didn't feel guilty and you didn't incur any additional debt as a result of that trip.
Right. So our situation was when we
Hold on. What's your view on that?
I don't think people should be going overseas when they're in debt. I just think, and
You think that time should be postponed until
correct.
after? Maybe that's a reward.
Yeah, I do believe that. Because that is a huge, like, when, and I think it does depend on how much it is, But it's what happens is we underestimate how much things cost.
Yep.
First of all, we say we deserve it. Therefore, we begin to make these plans.
You make concessions in other areas so you can do that because you deserve it.
And then people put it on credit. Or they pause on the goal that they say that they want to achieve, which is debt reduction or getting more money into savings. And it doesn't stay the high priority when we're talking about rest, relaxation, and fun. And so I think we pause on those bigger things because we already mentioned a bunch of different ways that you can enjoy yourself locally, that kind of thing.
Or even we had I'm sorry, finish your statement.
But I think that we tend to see that as so much more rewarding, and we're not considering what it's taking from us in terms of the actual other goal that we have. The reward in our minds is not the debt payoff. We want the reward to be the fun and the excitement and all of that. And we sometimes, when it comes to that, we just don't seem to care how much it's costing us. And so I do think if I were to say yay or nay, not knowing anything, it's a nay.
Yeah. I had a neighbor recently, they went on vacation and we were grabbing their mail and packages and he came back and, he said they went to like Myrtle Beach and jet skied and parasailed, and he was saying how much fun they had. And I was like, man, that is a beach vacation without going out of the country or to the Mexico or the Caribbean, Bahamas. And he was like, man, that was his first time doing some of that stuff, but it sounded like they had an awesome time. And I'm sure that trip was a whole lot less than going to some of these other beach-based vacations. And I was like, that's a good way to think about it because you could even drive there.
Right. That's
mitigate your expense with airplane tickets and just rent a car, or, there's different ways of doing it and still having an awesome trip and an awesome experience.
Yeah, I think that we have to reconsider what it means to be on vacation too.
Yeah.
And I feel like I fall into that a lot because now that I've tasted being overseas or doing the things that are not stateside, I enjoy that extra. You know what I mean? The extra involvement. Yeah. But it costs more. And so I do think that there are different ways to get it done. So what I'm not saying when I say no to, let's say, international experiences, I'm also not saying no to stuff like that. Right. Because
maybe substitute.
There are ways to get that done. To get the beach experience or whatever the experience is you're needing. There's so many places within the States to do so. The other thing though is we said no to international stuff. Even we didn't say yes to Hawaii until well into our marriage after we had been out of debt. We drove to California several times while we were in debt. And
had a ball though.
And paid cash for that vacation. We drove to Vegas. And I remember one trip specifically where we drove to California and then we drove to Vegas for a family reunion and then we drove back to
with the
Arizona.
Kids. That was so much fun.
That was a whole lot of fun.
That was so much fun.
And it was costly. Like it wasn't like $1,000 trip, but it also was not a $5,000 trip for 4 people. And we did not put that on credit. We used cash for that, and we were pretty darn close to being out of debt. And so we didn't want it to sabotage our efforts on debt reduction. So I guess what I really want to say is we didn't say no to everything, but we didn't say yes to big things while we were in debt.
The thing that keeps coming to my mind is, we found a dupe.
What was that?
We found a dupe trip, a duplicate, where instead of this big exotic beach vacation, we said, well, let's find us a dupe that will make us equally as happy. Because even just as you were talking about it, I thought back to that trip with us, and the kids were
young.
They were small and like
2 and 6.
Like the road trip though, but we had a ball with them. And I remember like being at the amusement park with them and coming back to the car and looking back, and they were both like out. They were exhausted because we had ran those kids hard out in the sun, just having fun together, and went to SeaWorld and did all the things, and just like thinking about it brings back that experience. And it wasn't taking them to Disney World. Well, we went to Disneyland.
We did land.
Disneyland, but it wasn't like, these big exotic trips where a 2 and a 6-year-old wouldn't appreciate it.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Do you remember that we got fried chicken from Kroger and ate it in the car instead of eating in the park?
I don't remember. I remember.
Or sandwiches or both. I don't remember.
I remember that we had on one of those trips had packed food.
Yes.
And we were, when the kids were ready to eat, we went back to the car because one, everybody was hot, and we weren't. You in the amusement park, you spend $100 just on lunch. And we went back to the car and we turned the air conditioner on in the parking structure. And we actually sat in the car, cooled off, and we had all this food that we had packed, sandwiches and snacks. All the snacks the kids want, we had bought. And only thing that I think we bought in the park was we bought them ice cream.
Yeah, and water. Yeah, something to drink.
And so I think that's how we managed. But and when they wanted something, we'd be like, oh yeah, boom. Reach in the back, pulled that thing out.
It was so great.
I think we were so proud of ourselves.
We were. I mean, to this day, I was
we out here
yes,
winning.
Yes.
The park not gonna get us.
That's
we
right.
Got y'all.
We got them jokers. Like, we were for real, because they had a ball and they didn't know that they were missing anything. I
wonder if people on the other side of the camera were just laughing at us because it's like
no, but for real, I had the first time we went to Disneyland. I remember going in there and I don't know what meal it was, but it was like $30 a person.
Yeah, it's
and I was
ridiculous.
so upset. I was so upset, and I vowed that this would not happen again. And this was 20 years ago. This is not
you
like
remember we got a pass, and it was like the pass was good for a year because the kids, as long as they were under like a certain age, they were free.
Yep.
And so we were like, oh, no, we about to get them. We coming back.
We came back.
And we made sure before they reached the age cutoff, before she reached the age cutoff, we were like, nope.
Yep.
We come, but they got us because we came back anyway.
Exactly. But whatever. I mean, the thing is, we were just trying to maximize our money. Yes. We were just trying to make sure we had a good time on a budget.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And so that's what we were doing when we were in debt. Like, we were hacking the system essentially for the summer and for our kids to be able to have a good time. And that's what I think the hustle can also be fun. The hustle can also be thinking outside the box. I mean, hacking, travel hacking is a real deal. And I just think that we need to take advantage of those things.
Yeah. I even think about earlier this year, we took a small, like you said, we taking the longer weekend trips, and we went to San Francisco. And it was like, man, we had so much fun. We packed it in for like a few days.
Yeah.
It's like we got there early. Went to the hotel, dropped our bags, and left. And we hit the streets. And for three days in a row, it was just like boom, 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 boom. And we had us so much fun. And it was a virtually free trip just because of like points and, travel rewards.
We had the companion pass.
Yeah,
you could get a hotel for free.
We hacked the system again. And it was like, man, it was so fun. But we're conscious of it, and we were trying to see how we could take advantage of it. And that's what we're encouraging people to do. Like, take advantage of what's at your disposal. And it may take a little research sometimes, or see what resources you have available to you, because I know even through work, we have this program called Perks at Work, where you get discounts on a number of different things and park admissions and services and stuff like that. So tap into what is available to you to ensure that you can have fun during the summer and not get off track and, blow the budget up.
Yeah. We're not trying to blow the budget up. We're not trying to miss out on our goals, but we are trying to have a good time. And I think you can do both. I think you can do both. We just have to be creative. Right.
So let's talk about make it worth it. What would you say is your make it worth it for, summertime?
Hey. Gosh, what is my make it worth it? Hack the system. That's all. Hack the system. Like, let's just, don't sacrifice your goals. Hack the system, and don't think that everything has to be this big, extravagant vacation. There's a lot of fun things that you can do for free, low cost, local, or just for a long weekend. And, look for those deals so that you can save your money. What about you?
I think my make it worth it is, invest in the time, to do something with your family, because the time flies by, with your kids, if you're parents, and, make sure you take advantage of the time that you have with them. Because I just go back and I just think about the times that we spent with our kids, and it was so valuable. Even though we were hacking the system and the kids didn't know, they had so much fun. And sometimes that's the way to do it, is they don't need to know all the details. You just create the environment to have fun. And that can be at home. It could be at, more staycations or localized trips or things like that. But, take advantage of the summer fun time atmosphere, because it's definitely out there during the summer.
Yeah, it's an investment in your family.
Yep.
And I think all of that is important. It just doesn't have to derail your progress.
Yep.
So until next time,
we're out. Thank you for spending some of your time with us today.
We appreciate all of your support. So be sure to subscribe, rate, and review us wherever you listen to this podcast.
You can find us on Instagram at For Better and Worth.
And sign up to receive our free guide, The 7 Reasons Your Money Relationship Isn't Working with Your Partner, on forbetterandworth.com.
Until next time, we're out of here.